Hi, I'm Just Jolin, and I'm trying something new. If you are new to my channel, thus far I've only uploaded episodes for my Vanilla Plus modded Forever World series, which I'm currently, I believe, at the time of recording this, on episode 9. That is really cool, so if you do kind of want to see some survival content, I'd recommend going and checking that out. This is a brand new series that I am starting. I think I'm going to call it something like Building for 30 Minutes, where essentially, as the name suggests, I'm going to be building, or for every episode, I'll be building for 30 minutes. I've kind of started myself with some plots here, and essentially the idea is that every episode I will have 30 minutes to build without a plan within this plot. Now, I wouldn't say I am an awful builder, but there are definitely techniques I want to learn and skills I want to improve upon. A few years ago, I kind of started learning how to do texturing, but I'm definitely not great at it. So my goal throughout this series is to kind of learn how to build with different styles and implement different, kind of blocks and just make some really cool things. I've seen some really awesome builds that just look super realistic. Oops, that's an accident. That look super realistic, and I kind of want to try replicating those. And I'm not going to be copying anything, but the idea is that I'll just kind of be using this series and this world as just like a place to just free build. Like I said, I don't really have a plan. I'm not really going into this with an idea of what to build. I haven't really thought what I'm going to start with. So I think the idea is just to start placing down some blocks and seeing where that develops. The goal by the end of this series, which I'm not sure how long it'll be, but the goal is to essentially come out with just an improved, kind of repertoire of building styles that I can implement into my other series and even just on my own. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and let's get building. Alright, so I think for the first build, I'm going to try doing something simple like a tree. I haven't done a ton of custom tree blocks before, or sorry, tree builds before, but from what I've seen, they're always super cool, and I've kind of always wanted to learn how to do that. And I think this could be very useful for me to learn. So I think for starters, I'm just going to go ahead and get a baseline down. I'm not really sure how big I want this to be. I don't really have an idea of a scale or anything like that, but I think it's just going to start getting a general structure down, and we'll see if that goes anywhere. I think one of the or my inspirations that kind of got me started on doing this type of video, like I mentioned, I've seen like just people post like their builds that look just super cool. They combine like just an insane like amount of blocks that you just would not think of using, or at least I wouldn't think of using. So that has been a big inspiration for me. But also a channel called Flow State, which I think I mentioned back all the way in episode 1 of my survival series. He does these videos where essentially he just builds without a plan. He just goes into these worlds or his server that he like plays on, and he just starts building. And I thought it's just super cool and fascinating. And really, he's what inspired me to start my channel to begin with. Even though I've been wanting to for a long time, I discovered him like probably about a year ago, and he has been just super inspirational for me. So I definitely kind of think this is coming from him. Not like stealing his ideas, not really like doing like connected builds. This is more just like a plot, but definitely want to give him some credit because yeah, he definitely kind of led to what kind of he led to essentially what I want to do with this. I've seen when people do custom trees, they utilize like planks and slabs and stuff just here and there, and I'm pretty sure it has something to do with like the shading and just like making it look like it, dark at the bottom, light at the top. So I definitely kind of want to learn how to do that, but I just can't like find like a style that looks good. Hmm. This doesn't look great. This looks pretty bad, but I think that's the whole point, right? Is to just start off seeing where I am and then going from there. I'm also trying to like kind of replicate like actual tree designs. So like I want to like have like little branches going out I don't know. I want to experiment and see how this plays out. Get some roots going. The hope is that, you know, maybe 30 minutes is a little ambitious for, you know, just building one tree, but the hope is that essentially I'll use up that entire 30 minutes just kind of reworking things and playing around and seeing how it goes. And if I run out of time, I run out of time. I don't think I want to give myself extra, like I probably won't come back to a previous build. Maybe I might change that later on, but right now, the idea is to not come back to anything I've started. Now I can always, you know, replicate that later on, but, you know, once I've run out of time, that's where the build ends. So the goal is to kind of learn how to build in quicker, I guess in like faster, but also with better style. So I think this is a pretty cool challenge to give myself. I do, right now, I don't really want to look up any references just because, you know, of course you're supposed to take inspiration, but I feel like the whole point is that like I gotta figure, or at least I want to figure out on my own. I might end up looking up some things, but I definitely want to like kind of see how I can improve this with my own style. Let's see if I can implement like some sort of like effect. Let's see, the sun's coming this way, so I want to make it where oh wait, I'm stupid. It would be the other way around, wouldn't it? See, this is kind of like an idea of like where my head is at, or where my you know, intellect is at in terms of building. The dark would be on the other side, right? Because that's where the shadow is. So I'd want to kind of build away from the sun in terms of light and dark. So I'd want to come over this way, and then over here. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to make this a little bigger, I think. I think that's what I'm planning out with this. I'll have to make it thicker so that the shading can actually kind of be implemented or utilized better, but I don't want to make this too thick. I don't want it to be like a huge tree. And I think at some point there's gonna just have to be a time where I just have to tear things down because I want to get the space right. So here, that looks better. It's a little, because it should be like a thicker base that leads up into kind of as skinnier as it goes. So let's try. This also needs to go. I think these are making it just a little ugly. I'll rework this. I should focus on one part at a time. So I want to make sure that I'm happy with my trunk, with how this is going. So this honestly doesn't look bad. This doesn't look. This looks better than what it did look like, or than it was. I think doing something like that. I need more support. I feel like it needs more like... That's honestly not looking bad. Like, as a whole, I think this is looking like a lot more solid. This still looks messy to me. I don't know what I should do with this side. I do kind of want to keep it kind of darker on this side. I think that looks like a cool effect. You know, it works with the natural shadows, but I think this also kind of gives that more of an effect. So let's try building up this side more. The tricky part is if I want to keep it like kind of matching or, you know, consistent on this side, but I also want to make sure like the shadows are creeping up this way as well. It's kind of hard because if I want to go thinner, I have to figure out where to use what. I think this is good to start kind of building up into the branches. So this is the main tree. So let's try doing some of that. How does this look? Not awful. Stop. There we go. Let's do this. Actually, wait, what if we use spruce for this? I do want to keep an eye on the clock because we're already about 10 minutes down. So I want to make sure that I'm, you know, making good progress and not... Because I do want to fit... You know, I said I'm going to stop once the timer it goes off. That doesn't mean that I don't want to have a finished product. So I do want to kind of make sure I'm building within the parameters. Like I said, the goal is that I can end up figuring out how to build within, like, you know, faster and not take... Of course, it's good to take time on things, but I think this is just kind of good, like a good exercise to learn. So I need some branches going this way. Ooh, I'm breaking everything I just built. Okay. Okay, hold on. Hold on, that looks better. Let's just get like a base line of leaves down. I just want to make sure I'm not going over that. Okay, so this is our limit, which isn't the... Actually, no, that should be fine. That should be alright. I was going to say maybe it isn't favorable with how little or space there is to branch out, no pun intended, but I think that should be fine. You know what? This isn't awful. I want to go for more of like a realistic tree, and the thing is, it's not just like, you know, little branches of all this, right? It's everywhere, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult to, let's see, slab, to kind of build out upon. Maybe I just do like that. No, I'd want darker if I'm going like if I'm doing that. Hmm. Let's do this. Let's get some of these. Where's my spruce slab? Ooh, maybe I do that for the rest of these too, because that's actually kind of like a if you're down here, that's like kind of like a nice little way of branching it out. Or making kind of like thin out, not branching. Okay, so if I'm doing something like this, that's not gonna be noticeable at all. That's fine. So I want to do this, and the goal is just to kind of create like a nice little shading effect. So just kind of choosing darker leaves for this side of the tree, but also want to keep it the same shape roughly. Are we doing on time? Let's see, about 15 minutes left or so. That's not awful. I can definitely get some more work done. Let's see, if I want to expand it more this way. You don't know if this is gonna be the top itch. It would be light like this, and then the underside would be more darker, right? So then maybe if we like that, just want to make sure this is all covered up as well. Where did that go? Wait, what? Ah. I was looking, honestly, you know what? Like I said, I don't do a lot of custom trees, and, you know, honestly, I'm proud of this. I think this looks good. If you think it looks awful, fair. I really honestly can't tell. But for what this looks like so far, I'm honestly not that upset with it. I think this is looking pretty good, at least for, like, in terms of what I can do. I'm fairly happy if this is how this is turning out. I just want to kind of keep up this pattern. I get about just a little over 10 minutes left, so I definitely want to hurry this up and just make sure this is finished out before the timer runs out. Because again, like my goal is to kind of like not place a single block once the timer ends. So doing that. And what if we have like here? Just want like a smaller. And I'm hoping that I can finish up this kind of like up here, so I can kind of go back and finish work more on the trunk. I also want to add some more little details in if I have time. I want to essentially get to the point where I'm able to just set up like a basic structure like this, do something like this in like half the amount of time it just took me for this, and then being able to add in details and just make it look better. Like I'm really hoping with as I continue with this, I can kind of like learn how to set these up faster or how to outline these faster. I think that'll be really cool. I'm sure I can do it. I'm very confident I'll be able to get to that point. And as I mentioned, this is my first ever, how do I say this? Up until now, my only videos have been my Survival World series, so this is my first ever non-Survival World video. So I'm hoping this is kind of fresh for you guys and like different. And you know, if this is your first time watching my channel, thank you so much for giving it kind of time of day. Like I said, I've been doing survival videos up until now. A little rough, you know. I'm still learning how to record and you know how to speak while recording, that kind of thing. But for the most part, feel like I'm learning a lot, and I feel like I'm growing, even if it's just a little bit. My editing's definitely gotten better, I've noticed, as I've gone on. So, super proud of myself in that aspect. But this is like my first, I guess, divergence that I'm taking. So I'm really hoping that you guys enjoy it, and I'd love some feedback if you guys definitely want to see more of these, because I do want to upload. Just I don't know, I don't really have like a long-term goal. Just just whenever I want some creative experience or just inspiration or want to challenge myself. I think it'd be cool. Okay with that. I need some more on this side, I feel like. Let's see. And so I'm trying to create kind of this shading effect, right? So I want to look at, where is it's hard to tell with actual shadows, but where is, in this image right here, where is the sun hitting from? So obviously it's hitting from high, up here, right? It's kind of this way, so we have shadowed on this side, and so the underside is going to be darker. This very much kind of front hitting with the lighting on this side. So up top, we want to kind of make like a little more darker leaves here, just to kind of create some more of a shading, like in terms of the heights, right? So down here it might be a little more shaded this way. And then I also want to go back and make it seem like, there's light hitting through as well. Don't want it to be all. So I want to figure out how to make that look. I think from overview, want to make it look a little better. Just feels a little more, it feels like kind of sporadic. I want to make it seem more kind of encompassing, if that makes sense. Let's see. Do that. 41 time. 6 minutes. Okay, so I do need to hurry up a little bit. Definitely kind of pushing my time. So I think I want to come on. Focus or shift focus back to making the trunk look a little better. It's kind of big, not big, a little too small. That's what I meant to say, the opposite. So I want to figure out how to kind of, let's see, maybe it's down here where we need to work on. It's hard to figure out where specifically my issue lays or lies. It's hard because the shaders already kind of creates some sort of, you know, shading already, but I kind of want to learn how to build this both, you know, within modded or shaders like this and without. So let's add some. What kind of leaves do we have that I can utilize here? If I want to make like a darker or kind of like a natural like kind of progression from light to dark, do some azalea. Let's see how this works. If I wanted to do like, ooh, actually wait. That might be the call here, because like, then it can make it kind of look like, you know, it's a little darker, but still kind of getting that sun up top. I quite like that actually. Hold on. Do some of that, and then move some of this underside to get a little shadier. Honestly, that's not bad. I think this looks good right now. Let's see. Spruce. I just want to add a few, not that. I want to add in like a few just little details to see if I can make the trunk look a little better. Oh, there's so many oak. What am I looking for? Button. Where is that? Right here. And then sign. Where can I add these in? No, don't go there. Oh, I should have added like a mod that lets me like put like vertical signs, or like not vertical, but like on or below blocks, on top of or below. Ooh, this needs a little bit more work. I'm coming down to about 3 minutes, so I just want to make sure everything looks nice. And you know, this isn't going to be perfect. I'm very much fine with that, but I do want to just like make it look decent, right? And I again, like I said, I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out right now. I think this is honestly looking better than I could have hoped for. You know, some people might think, you know, how could you spend 30 minutes on this? I could have done this in whatever time. But honestly, like I said, I'm not great at this. I'm all right, but like honestly, the whole point of this is that I want to get better. So I think for pumping this out in like 30 minutes. That's not bad. I'm honestly pretty satisfied with that. I think this looks looking pretty good. Let's see if I want to. Here. Oh, I want to do like little details and add like around it, but no, that's not the point. The point is the tree itself, right? So, I'm trying to figure out what to add in the last few minutes, right? Because I mean, we have kind of our arc curves upwards. Did I go above? No, I'm still good, right? Yeah, I'm still good. Maybe you can add like... No. that. Yeah, that looks good. Because some trees will just have this. Some trees will just have like a... Ooh, do I have a spruce? Ooh, spruce. Some trees will just have... I forget what they're called, but like little, essentially like holes like that. Not holes, but like patterns. I believe it's to help with stem growth or trunk growth and like ventation. I believe it's what it's called, or venation. God, I'm currently taking a plant class, but I need to actually remember what I'm learning. I think it's venation. I think it's like venation, so it helps like get oxygen and other stuff into the trunk. I might just be bullshitting that, but let's see. 33 seconds. Let's see. Let's put that. Add that. Leave. This might have been a daunting thing to do at the last second, but you know, even if it ruins the build, screw it, right? I just want to play around. The whole point is just seeing what works, what doesn't, and learning. So as this wraps up, I'm going to just throw these around. All right, and that is my alarm. So that is 30 minutes. Episode 1 of Building in 30 Minutes complete. This is what we did. I am happy with this. It's not great. I'm sure there's things I'll go, oh, I should have added that on, or I could do this in the future, but this is what I got pumped out with no plan going into this. I didn't even think of doing a tree. I just thought of that kind of last second before starting. So I'm not happy. I'm not upset at this. I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is cool. Hopefully I'll learn to make better ones. Smaller ones, I want to learn how to make smaller trees. That maybe I can do that next episode. I don't want to make it all trees, right? It's going to be kind of whatever I'm feeling of building, but for this being the finished product within 30 minutes, I am satisfied. So that is episode 1. If you guys did like this kind of content, if you guys want to see more from me, I do plan on hopefully making more of these in the future, just in between my survival series. But if you guys want to see more or have feedback or even something you want to see me build, please let me know. I would love to take that in consideration. Who knows, maybe I'll even put your name on it or something. But yeah, if you guys did like this video, make sure to give me a like and as well as a comment, just letting me know if you enjoyed it. And then also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And then please be on the lookout for future videos. Episode 10 of my survival series should be coming out within the next week or so. I'm not sure when I'll do another one of these. Might be just tomorrow. Might be whoever I'm feeling. And honestly, just who knows. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Bye bye.